Once upon a time in a field full of wildflowers, there lived a little rabbit named Hopscotch. Hopscotch was a curious and playful bunny, always hopping around with his fluffy white tail bouncing behind him. Every morning when the sun peeked over the horizon, Hopscotch would hop out of his burrow and wiggle his nose in the fresh air. He loved chasing butterflies, playing hide and seek with his friends, and listening to the birds singing in the trees. One day, after a particularly good night's sleep, Hopscotch woke up feeling very, very thirsty. He hopped out of his burrow and began searching for some water. Usually, his shadow would dance ahead of him, copying his every move, but that morning, much to his surprise, he couldn't see his shadow anywhere. Hopscotch looked under bushes and behind rocks, but his shadow wasn't there. "Hello," called Hopscotch. "Is anyone there?" A little bluebird landed on a nearby tree branch and chirped. "What are you looking for, little rabbit?" "I've lost my shadow," said Hopscotch, sighing sadly. "I can't remember ever being without it before." The bluebird cocked her head to one side and said, "Perhaps it's hiding. You could try asking the flowers. They have eyes everywhere." So Hopscotch skipped over to a patch of sunflowers and shyly asked, "Have you seen my shadow? It usually follows me around, but now I can't find it anywhere." A sunflower turned its face toward the sky and said, "We haven't seen your shadow, little rabbit, but we have heard that the river knows everything. It flows all around these parts and perhaps it has seen your shadow. It's just beyond those trees." "Thank you," said Hopscotch, and he was soon bounding toward the riverbank. As he hopped along, he noticed a family of ducks paddling in a nearby pond. "Excuse me," he called to them. "Have you seen my shadow?" The ducks lifted their heads up from the water and quacked loudly. "No, but the river does know everything. Just ask the old willow tree by the riverbank. It's wise and maybe it will help you." Hopscotch thanked the ducks and soon arrived at the old willow tree. He took a deep breath, then asked, "Hello, wise willow tree. Have you seen my shadow? It's black and furry and usually sticks close to me." The willow tree rustled its leaves and replied, "Why, yes, I believe I have seen your shadow. I saw it playing with a butterfly beyond the whispering woods. If you hurry, you might be able to catch up to it." Hopscotch thanked the willow tree and hurried into the woods. As he walked between the tall trees, the sunlight filtering through the leaves painted dancing patterns on the ground. Soon, he heard the soft tinkling of a nearby waterfall. Peeking through some bushes, he saw a beautiful sight. In a small clearing, his shadow was playing with a colorful array of butterflies. They twirled and swooped around each other, dipping and diving until Hopscotch couldn't see their shadows anymore. He took a deep breath and stepped into the clearing. "There you are," he cried. "I've been looking for you everywhere." But as soon as he said that, the butterflies flew away, leaving Hopscotch standing alone in the clearing. And to his great astonishment, he didn't see his shadow anywhere. Confused and upset, Hopscotch flopped down on a nearby rock. A kind voice said, "What's wrong, little rabbit?" Hopscotch looked up to see a wise old turtle sitting on a stone nearby. He explained to the turtle how he couldn't find his shadow, and the turtle smiled knowingly. "I think I can help you," she said. "But first, let's go for a swim in the waterfall. It's so refreshing on a hot day like this." Hopscotch had never been in a waterfall before, so he hesitantly followed the turtle into the water. It was cool and bubbly, and Hopscotch felt a smile spreading across his face. As they swam, the turtle told Hopscotch stories about the magical land they were in, and soon they arrived at a large, sparkling pool. The turtle said, "This is where you'll find your shadow. But first, you must learn to love yourself for who you truly are." Confused, Hopscotch asked, "How do I do that?" The turtle replied, "All around this pool are stones that have special powers. All you have to do is look inside each one and say what you see." Hopscotch nodded and hopped toward a nearby stone. Looking inside, he saw a small rabbit looking back at him. "A small rabbit," he said aloud. "That's what I am." Next, he came across a fast rabbit. "Fast," he said. Then he saw a clever rabbit. Clever. And finally, he saw a kind rabbit. Kind. As soon as he said the word, the stone glowed brightly and opened up to reveal a shimmering black ball. Hopscotch gasped. "Is that my shadow?" he asked. The turtle nodded. "It seems that you already have everything inside of you, little rabbit. All you had to do was discover it." Hopscotch bounced with joy and hugged his shadow tightly. He was so happy to have it back. Together, they raced out of the pool, eager to show off to all his friends. But then Hopscotch stopped. He remembered the kind words of the stones and realized that he wanted to keep these special moments to himself. He took his shadowy's hand and they slowly made their way back to the field full of wildflowers. When Hopscotch got home, he happily hopped into his burrow, snuggled up next to his mom and told her everything that had happened. She listened patiently, and when he finished, she said, "You know, you have a big heart, Hopscotch. I'm so proud of you." Hopscotch blushed and snuggled closer to his mother. He realized that all the adventures he'd had changed him and made him a better, kinder rabbit. From that day on, Hopscotch continued to explore the world with his shadow by his side. They chased butterflies, played hide and seek and splashed in the river, always remembering the valuable lessons they learned along the way. And whenever Hopscotch felt sad or scared, he would look inside himself and say the words, "I'm kind, I'm clever, I'm fast, I'm small," and with each word, he grew braver and stronger. And so the little rabbit who lost his shadow became known throughout the land for his kindness, courage, and unwavering spirit. He learned that true strength comes not from outside, but from within, and that facing your fears and embracing who you are can lead to the greatest adventures. With his trusty shadow by his side, Hopscotch continued to explore the world, always discovering new things and making new friends along the way.